This is me, Agent Dave, aka Fanatical for Jesus. I'm coming to you real quick to do part 3 of my storytime video series. I apologize. I know you've been waiting for a while for this. I had a lot. I've been going through a lot, and I don't know. I didn't really feel like making part 3 right away because I don't know. I was talking about some pretty heavy stuff, and yeah, so I decided I wanted to take a break from that for a little while. But anyways, so there's gonna be part 3 of my story time videos. Real quick, I want to show you guys something. There's my beautiful Jade. Right there. She's not looking at the camera right now because she's too good. She's too good for you guys. Here is Tasia. Say hi, Tasia. Aren't they so adorable? They're the best cats in the world. Alright, and as you can tell, there's the Taiwan flag in the back, the best country in the world, next to America. By the way, happy 4th of July, everybody out there. Hope you guys are gonna have a good celebration tomorrow and have nice cookouts. I'm gonna go over to a family from my church. I'm gonna go over to their house. They're doing some kind of dinner and games and just fellowship. Yeah, be safe out there, everybody, too. Alright, anyways, I'll get into it. So, I left off, pretty much, I moved back. California sent me back to Colorado, and I went back into the same foster home, and I was sneaking out, and I got in touch with all my old friends, especially Terrell, and yada yada. I got into stuff that I wasn't supposed to be doing, and I did things that I'm ashamed of that I don't really want to repeat. I don't really feel the need. I don't want to talk about it, pretty much. But anyways, fast forward a little bit. DHS out here, they decided they were going to try and send me my sisters, but they didn't want to repeat. They didn't want what happened when they sent me my dad's to happen when they sent me my sister, because then it'd be pointless. So they decided to send me out there on a 2-week trial period to see how it goes. And at the time, in my mind, I was thinking it went well, but it really didn't. Like, I was a compulsive liar. I don't know, at that time I was really big on writing. I still am, but I was really, really big back then. I was writing stories, and my sister felt like my stories were too dark. She even made me throw away my Stephen King books. For those of you that don't know, my sisters are both very strict, strong Pentecostals, and when they hear stuff that's even somewhat dark, they think it's negative, and Pentecostals don't like negativity. Everything has to be positive and pretty much like fluffy Christianity or Christianity light. Yeah, and so then there was some other stuff. Like, I was pretty lazy. Like, I didn't really want to do the work that they wanted me to do, and so even though at the time I thought it went well, my sister didn't think it was good, and she had 2 kids at the time, and she didn't think she wanted her kids to be exposed to that. Hold on 1 second, I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I had to take my medication. Anyways, so long story short, I went back at the 2-week trial period, and I found out, I think the next day from my caseworker, that my sister said it wouldn't work out. And at that time, that's when I went into what I call the dark ages of my life. Like, they lasted from 16 to about 18, 19 years old. And I just became very angry inside and very pessimistic, and I that's the time I said I was pretty much anti-God or anti-Christian. I remember I did. I was really mad at God, and I decided I was gonna, since I couldn't do anything to God. Jade, stop. She's just a baby, or he's just a baby. Stop. Anyways, Jade, stop. Anyways, I started doing things. I wanted to mess with. I started like pretty much like I wanted to hurt Christians, like because that was my way of hurting God. And at least that's how I rationalized it. I remember at the school I was going to, that my foster parents forced me to go to, there was a group there called FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and every now and then they'd be out in the hallway doing bake sales and stuff. And I'd go out there and I'd just, like, pretty much fuck with them. Like, I remember I took, like, I was talking to this guy, and, like, I grabbed the cake that was on the table, and I pretty much slammed it in his face. And, yeah, we got into a fight, and then I got suspended for, like, 2 weeks. And after that, I came back, and I just did the same thing again. Like, that's how, and I remember, this one girl in my class, she, like, I don't know, like, she tried talking to me one time, and she tried inviting me to their Fellowship of Christian Athletes meeting, and I saw she had a Bible in her hand, and I snatched that Bible out of her hand, and I ripped it up and threw it on the ground. And then I also remember, my foster family, we didn't actually go to an actual church. We went to what was a home church, and the pastoress there, her name was Ursula. And I remember, one day, like, whenever I would go around this time, like, usually I would just fall asleep. And my foster parents thought it was because I didn't sleep at night, but it was just because I didn't want to be there and I didn't really give a shit about what she was saying. That was the truth. But, like, I remember one time I was just so angry. I just got up and, like, grabbed the Bible from her pulpit and I spit in it and ripped it up. And I didn't throw it at her, but I threw it at the TV behind her. And after that, she told my foster parents she didn't want me ever coming back. So my foster dad would stay back with me while my foster mom took everybody else, and they would go to church every Sunday. And then, yeah, and then there was many other stories I could tell you around that time period that I was just doing a lot of horrendous things that I'm ashamed of. But, after that, I remember there was one night, like, for some reason I wasn't sleeping that night. I don't remember why. I remember earlier that night I got into an argument with my roommate, and he got mad, and he went out of the room, and then he went into the den area. We all slept in the basement of the house. There was, like, a den where, like, the entertainment center was, and yeah. So he went out into the den and slept on the couch that night. And for some reason, I couldn't sleep, and I decided I was going to go upstairs to go get some food, get something to eat, because I was hungry. I was going to sneak some food downstairs, because we weren't allowed food in our room, so we'd sneak food all the time. And, I went up there, and then I decided, instead of getting food, I decided to look for something else. I don't remember exactly what, but I remember I was going through one of the drawers, and I came across some matches. And at that point, I decided I was going to start a fire. So I went downstairs to my room, and I lit the match, and I put it on my bed. I set my bed on fire. And I stood there for a minute watching the fire grow. And it was almost as if I was mesmerized. I can't explain it, but that's the best I could explain it. It was almost as if I was mesmerized. And when I came back to myself, I freaked out, and I ran out to the den area to try waking up my roommate. He didn't believe me, so he went right back to sleep. So then I went to the room next to us, our room, where the adopted brothers lived, and tried waking them up. And the oldest one, he believed me when he heard the smoke detector go off. So he jumped out of bed, ran upstairs to go get Randy and Carolyn. And Carolyn's mom, who was staying with us at the time because she could no longer live on her own. And Yeah, he went and got them, and then I went and to the room next to the doctor brother's room, and woke up the other two foster kids. And like I woke them up, and by the time I got them up, it was by that time we weren't able to go back out their bedroom door because the smoke already kind of barricaded. Like we literally saw the door rattling, and I started freaking out even more because I was thinking we were gonna die in that room. Because earlier that week we were doing some yard work and we cut down the tree and we put all the logs or whatever in front of their window. So like we couldn't really climb out the window. But then Brandon and Carolyn's biological son went over there and moved the logs out of the way to clear a pathway for us to climb out the window. And so we all got out safely. And the paramedics came and they said that they saw that I had like ash or something underneath my nose. So they wanted to rush me and Carolyn's mom to the hospital. And I remember when I got to the emergency room, I was laying in bed and I fell asleep. And I was woken up like later on that morning by the fire marshal. He came in there. I still remember his name to this day, Gregory Segura. But he started talking to me, and he wanted to know how the fire started. And at first I lied. I said, I don't know. And he said, well, fires don't start on their own. How did the fire start? And I said, I don't know. And he stepped out. He said he was going to let Carolyn talk to me, and then he'll step back in. And Carolyn pretty much reamed me a new one. She told me I better be honest and tell him the truth and blah, 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 blah. So she made me feel bad. And when he came in, I told him that I tried taking a drop light that my foster dad left in my room, and I tried plugging it in, and it sparked and hit my bed, and that caught on fire. And at the time, I thought he believed me because he got up and walked away. And then he left the room. And then shortly after that, I was able to leave the hospital. I got back in the van, and but then I was told by my foster parents they took us to Chins Up, the foster care agency, and they dropped me and the other two foster kids up there because they told us that since they had actually I forgot who it was. I think the county paid for them to go stay in a motel. And since the three of us weren't actually their kids, we couldn't stay in the motel because we were the state's responsibility. So they ended up sending the three of us to respite homes. The two of them went to the same one, and I went to a different one. And I remember the respite home I went to it was pretty strict. Like they had alarms on the doors that they set off, that they turned on at nighttime. They'd always tell us before we went to bed that we make sure we use the restroom or get a drink of water, whatever, before they turn the alarm on. And they had alarms on the windows too, so there was no sneaking out. Yeah, so I mean, it was pretty strict. I hated it there. But the one thing I hated the most, like I was there for like 2 weeks. I remember they took us golfing, country club, and some other stuff. I hated it. It was horrible. But I remember one day out of the blue, the foster mom there, she drove me to the crisis center, and I was to be evaluated. And it was there I found out that she told them that I was asking the foster kids what they would do if their house was on fire, and it raised red flags in her mind, so that's why they took us there. And honestly, I don't remember ever saying anything like that. I mean, I guess it is possible that I did, but I don't remember ever even mentioning anything about house fire or even fire in general to those kids. But I don't know. I don't know exactly what went on there. But after that, I ended up going to Pueblo State Hospital yet again. And I remember the fire marshal visited me another time when I was in the hospital, except he came with another fire marshal, or I think maybe she was a deputy or something. And they wanted to ask me for my story again. And I stuck to my story at first about the drop light and the spark. And they told us in that time he was more straightforward with me. He said that's not possible, so they need to know what the truth is. And they kept badgering me over and over and over again until I finally broke down and I confessed that I started the fire. And I remember the deputy, she started chewing me out and saying, "Oh, children are the ones who play with she was saying some dumb shit like, "Oh, children play with fires," and blah blah blah, trying to insinuate that what I did was immature and blah 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 blah, or that I was being childish for playing with fire, even though I wasn't playing with fire, but I don't know. Anyways, and then shortly after that, I ended up going to Spring Creek Youth Services Center. It was pretty much juvenile detention center, and I was there for I think 3 months. When I first got in there, I was they had me do the intake, and I had to go on the computer, and I didn't really want to answer those stupid questions, so I just hit yes to all of them. Next thing I know, I'm on suicide watch. So I was like, oh goody. And but I mean, the only thing good about it is got to see like the therapist I was seeing once a week. She would come by and she got to pull me out of things that I didn't want to feel like doing, like PT, or she pulled me out of the school too to have our session. So I lucked out there. But yeah, I was there for 3 months and nothing really exciting happened in Spring Creek. I remember I got into a couple fights in Spring Creek, like with this one guy, because we were playing spades and he kept rubbernecking, like trying to look at my cards pretty much. And I told him 3 times to stop rubbernecking. The 3rd time he did it, I threw the cards in his face. I was like, here, just have them. And he stood up, I stood up, and we got into a fight. And then I also remember I got into a fight with my cellmate, or my roommate, I should say, because he found out that I had friends who were Bloods, and he was a Crip, and I tried telling him that I'm not a Blood, but he said, "Well, you associate with them," and we got into a fight over that. It was pretty stupid, and I got put in a holding cell, and then they put us right back in the same cell again together, which made absolutely no sense. But other than that, nothing else really exciting happened at Spring Creek. I was just there for 3 months, and after that, they transferred. Like my public defender taught the judge into transferring me to a treatment center, treatment facility. It was, it's called a residential treatment facility, treatment center. RTC. And it was called Southern Peaks Regional Treatment Center at the time. Now it's called, I think, Abraxas or some stupid crap like that. And it was supposed to be a 6 to 9 month program. And by the way, it was in Canyon City. And I managed to turn the 6 to 9 month program into 2.5 years. But my public defender, she got me off pretty easy. Like, she had the charge knocked out from a felony to a misdemeanor. So I just had to do 2 years of probation, 100 hours of community service, and I just had to go to that treatment center pretty